Okay, so you know our new format. Every Thursday, we're doing the winning day. We're working through what might feel like maybe you could look at the form and think, again, like the same thing. We have to follow up and all of these monotonous tasks. So before I pass it to Sarah, I want to read you just a little, like the simplest thing ever, but I want you to take heart because one of the things that makes us successful is we do these same steps over and over again. And I've always liked that saying that success really isn't that sexy. Like the steps that take to get to that point, it's kind of boring sometimes, but it's all part of what brings success. So just let me read you this. This is actually a book that Genevieve sent me to read. So this is called Procrastination, the Friend of Failure. Anybody in here a fellow procrastinator? Anybody want to admit to that? Okay. All right. So I'm not alone. I even have students now that will tell me, actually, my greatest work happens at the last minute. And now that I'm older with gray hair, I realized that may be true, but in the meanwhile, you've absolutely caused a ruckus with every person around you. Like when you're panicking and freaking out and, oh my gosh, I need a poster board. It's your mama and everybody that lives in your house that's being tortured. Okay. So procrastination, the friend of failure. I decided to give away a very large old wooden desk topped with a piece of 1/4-inch thick clear glass, about 3 feet by 5 feet. The new owner didn't want the glass, and when we loaded the desk into his truck early one Saturday morning, we left the sheet of glass leaning against the basketball hoop pole at the edge of our driveway. As my friend drove away with the desk, he said, "You better put that glass in a safe place." And I yelled back, "I will," but I didn't. I glanced at it and I told myself, "I'll do that later." Then I got busy trimming bushes, cleaning the garage, and every time I walked past that sheet of glass, I told myself I should move it before it blew over. "I'll do it later," I kept thinking. The day wore on and we decided to go out to dinner as a family. And as we backed out of the driveway, my wife, Karen, said, "Shouldn't we put that glass someplace safe?" And you know what I told her. A couple of hours later, we arrived home at dusk and we're all heading into the house when I spotted a pair of grass clippers sitting near the curb. I said to our son, Michael, who was 9, "Hey, Mike, would you go over there and grab those clippers and put them in the garage for me?" Off he went as I headed into the house. It was a quiet Saturday evening in our pleasant neighborhood until the silence was broken by the most terrifying sound I have ever heard, the shattering of a very large piece of plate glass. I realized instantly what had happened, and I also knew why. I dashed out of the garage and around our car to find Michael lying in the driveway on his stomach atop hundreds of deadly shards of glass, some more than a foot long. He was crying as I ran, carrying him to the front porch, and I held him under the light to check his injuries, expecting the worst, and I really couldn't believe it. He didn't even have a scratch. He had run right into the glass, fallen on top of it as it hit the driveway, but there wasn't a mark on him. To say we felt incredibly thankful would be an understatement. But why did this incident happen? Procrastination, the friend of failure. I knew the glass needed to be put away. Doing so would have taken no more than a few minutes, but I put it off and put it off until finally it exploded into an actual catastrophe. "I'll do it later" thinking can be costly in many ways. So take care of the little things while they're still little. So if you are avoiding following up with a customer who maybe you're afraid they're going to tell you something negative, the longer it goes, the harder it is to go to them because they'll say, "Oh, really? Where have you been the last 30 days? We put things off and we take the little things and we make them into mountains. We're all guilty of it. So today, as we work through the winning day, remember the little things matter and keep them little so they can stay little, not becoming these mountains that are hard to overcome. Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you. And if anyone doesn't have that winning day sheet, I'm almost positive it's in the chat, but if not, we can put it there as well.
Perfect. I think one thing that's super helpful, even just around the house, not just with your business, is anything that takes 5 minutes or less, why wouldn't we do it right then? And I actually have been having some anxiety this week, and I realized it's because all of the little things that are filling up space in my brain now all of a sudden feel huge, right? I'm physically feeling this weight. And I was talking through it with my husband, and I was like, well, it's not that there's dishes in the sink or that the laundry needs to be done or that I need to pack for Super Saturday or, all of these things, but it was all of those 5-minute tasks that I've procrastinated throughout the whole month that turn into this physical weight, right? And I love that we can talk ourselves out of things. I think the next step of that is, why are we procrastinating? And that's when you get into mindset and self-sabotage and all of those things. Well, if I follow up, what if they don't love the products? If I reach out, what if they reject me and say, no, thank you, Plexus is not for me? We get all of those self-sabotaging thoughts and red light stories in our brains, and that completely robs us of potential amazing outcomes, right? So last night I was like, okay, it will take me less than 5 minutes to empty the sink. Have you guys ever actually timed yourself? Those little tasks that feel huge and overwhelming. There were a few times that I was like, I'm just going to time myself. And 2 minutes and 37 seconds later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I got done in less than 5 minutes. It's the same with making your bed. So really long story short, I didn't even know you were going to say that. But last night we got home kind of late, and all these 5-minute tasks were building up. I was like, you know what? 15 minutes of pushing back my bedtime to get 3 things accomplished will make me feel so much better. Well, that turned into one task only took 2 minutes and another task only took 5 minutes. And so I ended up taking 30 minutes. House is clean, laundry was moved through, everybody's happy. And I woke up feeling this sense of calm, right? So what if we attacked our businesses with a sense of calm and confidence, where we know that we are in control when we are intentional with what we are doing? The same for, how many of you have overthought a social media post for 3 days? Right? It's like, oh, I know I need to post. Oh, I know I want to post. Oh, I don't know what to post. And I'm telling you guys, some of the less than 5-minute reels, you guys saw that workout reel that I did while you guys were watching last week, that I only did one take and it was not good, has almost 3,000 views. I literally one done less than 5 minutes. Don't think about it. Don't look at it, and throw it out there. So, not overthinking and not procrastinating. I think we just have to fail forward and get good at just showing up imperfectly and doing our best. And I will tell you, when I procrastinate reaching out and then get really good messages back, I'm like, why am I so scared of doing that? Why am I so scared of following up? Why am I so scared of reaching out? So Jennifer, that is awesome. But we do have the winning the day. It's been posted in every chat and every messenger for the last, since January 1st. So hopefully you guys have your winning the day worksheet. I've really been paying attention to, where am I really good on this sheet and where am I not good? And so one of those things that feels easy to me is just adding value, encouraging, sharing what you read, putting something funny out there, which, by the way, the last 2 teenage mom memes that I found, I'm still cracking myself up about those. But anyway, here's the deal. I posted a funny meme and now I've got 10 people that have replied messaging to me. Oh my gosh, I can relate. Oh my gosh, this is my life. So it's 10 new conversations that are in my inbox that started about a laundry hamper. You know what I mean? So don't underestimate the power of just adding value in a post or something that you share in a story. Where I'm not doing great is that introducing people to the vision and moving them to the next step. Who are my people on reset that, bless their hearts, are on day 7 and I haven't followed up, right? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, I was obsessively following up, and now I just left them out to wherever. My memes that I post, I usually do in stories, and it starts when they reply to it, it starts an inbox message. So let's rock and roll. Let's take 20 minutes and see if you can bust out your sowing seeds for later, engaging, and adding value. And then I'll jump back on for a minute and we can talk about kind of moving to the next step. I still love what Jennifer shared last week about inviting personally versus just announcing. Super Saturday is the biggest training event of the year. Okay, so there's going to be things happening that you're going to be like, what are they talking about? If you don't register and at least watch at home in your pajamas, you are going to be missing out. So it's not too late to message team members and make sure that people are registered. And that would be a great part of moving people to that next step. So let me see if I can find the link and drop it here for Super Saturday, Letitia, and then we will rock and roll, get to work. I've been using The Greatest Showman soundtrack the last 2 weeks, and it's done wonders for me getting excited about reaching out. And then if you want to drop in the comments an engaging post that worked for you, something that added value, we'll use the chat, but we are just going to rock and roll and get to work.